This question is to both candidates. What do you propose the city do with a plan for programs and improvement for the city as a whole in the next 4 years, 2014 to 2017?
So the question is what kind of programs we would like to see expanded?
What do you propose the city do with a plan for programs and improvement for the city as a whole over that 4-year period of time?
If you can explain that a little better.
I'm reading what I get off the card from the audience.
I mean, that kind of opens it up. You just tell me. Yeah,
well,
we're in agreement.
You mentioned a long-term plan about 2 questions ago, so
yes.
Potentially go off that and what's the long-term plan for City of Phoenix as a whole, and then.
Well, we already have a long-term plan. It's called a general plan. You can't do anything in an area. You've got certain levels in order if you want to change your zoning on your property. You've got a long-term plan, which is called a general plan. It's only changed every 10 years, and guess who's involved in making that change? You are. You're the individuals that vote on the long-term plan. Then you have zoning that's in place in properties. So if you're talking about that type of long-term plan, we've got that instituted. We've got an incredible amount of people that get involved in the public participation process on any zoning matter. Just come to one of our zoning hearings, you'll know. The other part of it deals with, if the question deals with what type of programs I think that we need to focus on and how we need to streamline some of those other programs, I'll tell you 2 programs that I think that I would like to see expanded. It's going to sound strange coming from me as a Republican. I know that, I had to say that. But I really believe there needs to be a stronger focus on the homelessness in the city of Phoenix. I really do. There's 70% of the individuals that are in the city of, that are homeless are chronically mentally ill. They cannot take care of themselves. The major funding was cut to those individuals. That's just wrong. You've got CAST, the downtown shelter, they pay $400,000 a year just for police service. That's wrong. We as a public should be taking care of at least the very little for the police service. So we need to focus, you ought to be looking at master planning some of these some of these programs, making sure that they follow through with it. That doesn't necessarily mean government does it. It means private sector individuals, charities, organizations, they do that. Those are the individuals that need to be involved in that, and that's where the planning needs to be.
You know, it's come to my, I'm now of the mindset that our definitions of planning are 2 completely different things. We have a temporary director for the development and planning department downtown. And in my opinion, they need to hire a permanent director, a director that will come in and do something and take hold of the city, the entire city with all the districts, and get a long-term plan that's viable and not just a plan on behalf of the developers that makes sense. So for example, look at Seattle, look at Denver, look at Austin, and look at those cities. And it took them about 2 decades to make all that happen too. So they had a long-term plan, they had something that was going to go in certain places, and they figured it out. But we do not have that type of person in place right now at this time. And that's what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about also growth. He's mentioning zoning a lot, I know he's got to, and development. I'm not. I'm talking about smart growth. I'm not anti-development, but I think we need smart growth. We need a balance between the development and we need a balance between the neighborhoods so that we have smart growth going on in the city of Phoenix. So again, I guess I maybe always wanting to say I think that the city council and the city really does not include the citizens as much as it should. I've gone to some of those meetings, and all you do is sit there and you listen to a bunch of people talk. Your input really isn't taken into account.
That's just not true. It's just not true. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, look at the Save the Lakes. I mean, when they came in to me and said, hey, we need help with this thing, we could have easily said, hey, we're not going to listen to you. We've been engaged in that. And if you look at what's been happening even within Club West, when their had water problems, when we sat in those meetings and coming up with a global water solution for all of the HOAs along Pecos Road, because it is a major crisis, we're working on it, whether it's Lakewood, Foothills, their input does matter. So it does matter, and we do have an impact on that. And pointing out why this director is temporary, it's because the permanent director just retired. Literally, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, he just retired. You got to appoint somebody in there on a temporary basis until you're ready to put a permanent person in there, which will be within probably the next 60 days.